Hello friends, welcome back to a new video, that is MCQs on ecology, and this is the part 2 of this series of videos on this ecology topic. So the first question of this video, that is question number 21. A species facing an extremely high risk of extinction in the immediate future is called option A vulnerable, option B rare, option C endangered, or option D linked species. So which one is correct about the species which face extremely high risk of extinction? And the right answer is option C, that is endangered. So a species facing an extremely high risk of extinction in the immediate future is called endangered species. Okay. So the next question is question number 22. A difference between an endangered species and a threatened one is that option A, an endangered species is closer to extinction, option B, a threatened species is closer to extinction, or option C, an endangered species are mainly tropical, or option D, there is no real difference between endangered species and threatened one. So the right answer is option A, that is an endangered species is closer to extinction, but the threatened one is not. So here we will see an endangered species is at risk of extinction, while a threatened species is likely to become endangered in the near future. So that is the difference between endangered species and threatened species. Okay. So the next question is question number 23. It is which one of the following sets of consist entirely of endangered wildlife species of India? And the options are option A Himalayan musk, black buck, Indian lion, rhino and sambar, or option B Himalayan musk deer, Indian lion, rhino, wild buffalo, golden cat, or option C egret, black bear, bison, spotted deer, or option D Himalayan musk deer, great Indian bustard, snow leopard, Kashmir stag, or wild ass. So which one is the correct one about the endangered wildlife species of India? And the right one is option A, that is Himalayan musk, black buck, Indian lion, rhino and sambar. Okay. So the next one is question number 24. Which of the following is an example of critically endangered species in India? And the options are option A black buck, option B red panda, option C pygmy hawk, or option D cheetah. So the right one is option C, that is pygmy hawk. So here we will see, this is the picture of pygmy hawk. So pygmy hawk or pygmy hawk is a Porcula salvinia, is the world's smallest and rarest pig species, and it is native to India and can be found in the alluvial grassland of the Himalayan foothills. Okay, so it is critically endangered species. So let's move on to question number 25. Which one of the following was the objective of signing the Montreal Protocol? And the options are option A protection of wildlife, option B protection of ozone layer, option C control over the use of insecticides, or option D control of noise pollution. So which one is correct one? That is option B. It is protection of ozone layer. So which one is the objective of signing the Montreal Protocol? That is protection of ozone layer. So here we will see the Montreal Protocol is an international treaty that aims to protect the ozone layer. So it was agreed on September 16, 1987 and came into effect on 1st January 1989. The treaty is designated to eliminate the production and use of ozone depleting substances. So ODS are commonly used in products like aerosols, fire extinguishers, air conditioners and refrigerators. Okay. So the next one is question number 26. It is what percentage of the incident solar energy do plant typically harvest during photosynthesis? And the options are option A 1 to 2%, option B 5 to 10%, option C 10 to 20%, or option D 20 to 50%. And the right one is option A. It is 1 to 2% of incident solar energy plant typically harvest during photosynthesis. Next is question number 27. Which one of the following pair is not correctly matched? And the options are option A production of sulfur dioxide matched with burning of coal, option B depletion of ozone layer, that is release of chlorofluorocarbon, option C eutrophication is increases the nitrogen and phosphorus content in aquatic bodies, or option D decrease in BOD of pond water increases in global temperatures. So which pair is not correctly matched? That is option D. It is decrease in BOD pond water increases in global temperature. This match is not correct. So here we will see biological oxygen demand or BOD is a measure of how quickly oxygen is depleted in water. High BOD means less oxygen is available for aquatic life. Low BOD means less oxygen is removed from water, so water is generally pure or purer. Okay, so this is the concept of BOD or biological oxygen demand. So the next question is, ecologists generally separate organisms in an ecosystem into three categories according to their producer, composer and decomposers. So that is based on option A how they obtain their energy, option B how rapid their metabolism is, option C the rate of succession in the ecosystem, or option D the size and complexity of the ecosystem. So the right one is option A. That is how they obtain their energy. So ecologists generally separate organisms in an ecosystem into three categories based on how they obtain their energy. Next is question number 29. Energy pyramids of an ecosystem tends to diminish at higher trophic levels. This is because at each successive level, the organisms become smaller. Option B, energy is stored and therefore less is passed on to the next level. Option C, energy is being concentrated in fewer and larger organisms. Or option D, energy is being lost from one level to the next. So which one is the correct one? The correct one is option D, that is energy is being lost from one level to the next. So energy pyramid of an ecosystem tends to diminish at higher trophic level because at each successive level energy is being lost from one level to the next. Okay. Next is, which of the following is not recycled in an ecosystem? And the options are option A water, option B carbon, option C energy, or option D nitrogen. And the right one is option C, that is energy. So energy is not recycled in an ecosystem. Next one is question number 31. That is, the role of decomposers in nitrogen cycle is to option A fix nitrogen into ammonia, option B release ammonia from organic compounds, thus returning it to the soil, or option C denitrify ammonia, thus returning N2 or nitrogen into the soil, or option D incorporate nitrogen into amino acids and organic compounds. So which one is correct about the role of decomposer in nitrogen cycle? And the right one is option B, that is release ammonia from organic compounds that thus returning to its soil. So the role of decomposer in nitrogen cycle is to release ammonia from organic compounds, thus returning it to the soil. Okay, so next one is question number 32. Which of the following biomes is correctly paired with the description of its climate? And the options are option A, savanna is matched with cool temperature, precipitation uniform during the year. Option B, tundra, that is long summers, mild winters. Option C, temperate deciduous forest, that is relatively short growing season, mild winters. Option D, tropical forest, that is nearly constant photoperiod and temperatures. So which one is correct one? That is option D. That is tropical forest, that is nearly constant photoperiod and temperature, and that is the correctly pair, okay, in according to climates. So the next one is question number 33. So commensalism is a symbiotic relationship between two organisms where both partners benefit. Option B, one partner benefits and cause harm to the other. Option C, one partner benefits but the other receives no harm. Or option D, both partners are disadvantaged. So the right one is option C, that is in commensalism, one partner benefits but the other receives no harm. Okay. Next is question number 34. Which of the following is not a character of R selected species? And the options are option A, small adult size, option B, long generation time, option C, a high energy allocation to reproduction, option D, maximum population growth. And the right one is option B, that is long generation time. So which is not a character of R selected species, that is long generation time. See here we will see R selected species are organisms that produce many offsprings but provide few resources to each individual. So they often have short lifespans, small body size and little to no parental care. Examples of R selected species include marine invertebrates such as jellyfish, mosquitoes, mice, rabbits. Okay, so there are selected species. So the next question is question number 35. Population of individuals of a species having genetically fixed variation but are interfertile and placed under same taxonomic species is known as option A, ECADS, option B, ecotype, option C, endemic species, or option D, keystone species. So the right answer is option B, that is ecotype. So here we will see ecotype is a population of species that differ genetically from other population of the same species because local conditions have selected for certain unique physiological or morphological characteristics. There, that is the role known as ecotype. Here we will see in this picture to clear this term, that is polar bear and grizzly bear, they both are bear species but adapted to different environment. This is the example of ecotype. Okay, so let's move on to question number 36, that is Parthenium is option A K selected species, option B an R selected species, sorry, option B an R selected species, option C none of the above, or option D both of the above. So which one is correct about Parthenium? So the right answer is option B, it is an R selected species. So next one is question number 37, that is biomagnification refers to option A absorption of a chemical from the media to concentration in the organism's tissue that are greater than in surrounding environment. Option B, that is biomagnification refers to tendency to some chemicals to become increasingly concentrated at successively higher trophic level in a food chain. Option C, the tendency for a compound to accumulate in an organism's tissue, or option D, all the statements are incorrect. So which one is correct about biomagnification? Is option B, that is tendency to some chemical to become increasingly concentrated at successively higher tropic level in a food chain. Here we will understand the biomagnification. So biomagnification occurs when organisms at lower levels of the food chain incorporate toxic chemicals or contaminated substances into their system. So biomagnification can affect all organisms in the food chain, but animals higher up in the chain are more impacted. For example, if a pond is contaminated with toxic waste, the concentration of the contaminant will increase further up the food chain. Okay. So the next is question number 38, that is according to the concept of competitive exclusion. Option A, two species cannot coexist in same habitat. Option B, extinction or emigrants are the only possible result of competitive interaction. Option C, intra-specific competition result in the success of the best adapted individuals. Or option D, two species cannot share the same niche in a habitat. So which is correct concept about competitive exclusion? And the right one is option D. It is two species cannot share the same niche in a habitat is the concept of competitive exclusion. So the next one is question number 39. It is a competitive exclusion principle states that if two competitive species coexist in a stable environment, they do so as a result of niche differentiation. Or option B, if two competitive species coexist in an unstable environment, they do so as a result of differentiation. Or option C, niche differentiation proves that there are coexisting competitors. Or option D, competitors can coexist because of environmental heterogeneity. So the right one is option A. It is if two competitive species coexist in a stable environment, they do so as a result of niche differentiation. That is the competitive exclusion principle. Okay. So the last question of this video, it is genetic races of a species with heritable variations that differentiate due to interplay with environmental conditions are called option A eCats, option B ecotypes, option C syntypes, option D ecoclines. So the right answer is option B, that is ecotype. So what is ecotype? Ecotype is a species that is adapted to live in a particular habitat. This species is genetically modified to survive in that particular habitat. That is, it's called ecotype. Okay, so these are all 20 questions of this part 2 video on ecology. So thank you for watching this video.